Welcome to the International Art Doll Registry podcast. I'm Lesley, and I'm talking with Bambi today. So, Bambi, you were mentioning in our last blog about using your characters for stop action motion type filming. What inspired you to do that?
Hello everybody, and I'm very happy to be here with you again today, Lesley. So I really just want to make, I've had a few videos, do a few how-to videos on YouTube, and I really enjoy that. I wanted to be able to use this as like an advertisement, if you will. So
Mhm.
I can just make this little movie of something fun, and I can use it then to market everything that I do, my studio, my online presence, my doll stuff, my fairy stuff, all the different things I can do. I can kind of put it all together into
Mhm.
one quick little video. You know what I mean?
That's going to take you 6 months to make.
It's going to take me 6 months to make. When I was little, my favorite Christmas cartoons were the stop motion ones. The Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, all of those. I loved them. Besides just the story and all that kind of stuff, I didn't really understand what it was I loved about them until I got older. And then I started realizing really all the animation that I was really attracted to was all stop motion. Started doing art. So I started working with clay about 7 years ago. I started sculpting, and of course, I love these dolls that we make. But I have so many interests. One little interest seems to branch out into three, four more new hobbies, and it was driving me crazy. But I loved making these dolls. I love making doll houses out of like paper mache and things I find in nature and stuff like that. I certainly love to write and do all of those kinds of things. Enjoyed the time I've spent making videos for YouTube or TikTok videos.
Do you feel like there's this possibility there with TikTok?
I certainly looked for creators who do clay and to see what they were doing. It is almost 100%, I will say 98% video driven. You can certainly put up a carousel of photographs like you do in Instagram, for example, but it's really, really video driven and they want up and down videos, not landscape type videos, but vertical videos. The people that I watch who post their clay videos, oh my gosh, how much can you do in 15 seconds? Almost every video I post is about 20 seconds. I kind of just that's my sweet spot that I've found. But I'm even with that, what can you show in 20 seconds? What can I do with these dolls physically besides display them and try to sell them? I can certainly make smaller versions that I might be able to incorporate into my doll houses that I have been making. I didn't really have an outlet for any of that. I didn't know what to do with this. So I thought the other thing about social media, you constantly are looking for your niche. You have to find a niche and then you have to kind of stick with it and not really post a lot of things from other niches because it messes up how many views you get. I'm thinking to myself, how can I work in clay stuff and doll stuff and forest stuff and fairy stuff? How can I work all of that into the same niche? So then I got to thinking, well, I was actually inspired by a woman I saw on YouTube who was doing stop motion with fiber, with wool. So she does needle felting. So she's a
Mhm.
needle felter, and she's been doing that for years. She knows that medium. She knows how to do all of that. Well, she makes the most incredibly entertaining and fun and amazing videos using needle felting. It was just blowing my mind. I couldn't catch enough videos. She had a little course, so I signed up for her course. Of course, in the process of all that, I started looking at more YouTube videos on doing stop motion from puppets to Lego stop motion. It takes you so long to get any video from stop motion that doing 15 seconds is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So, I've dabbled a little bit with needle felting. Certainly dabbled a lot now with paper mache and all of that kind of stuff and building these little fairy houses that look like little doll houses that look like trees, and they live inside the tree trunk. And also the dolls. You move it just the most minute little bit, and then you take a picture, and then you move it a tiny little bit more, just a smidgen more, and then you take another picture. So it's very tedious and time consuming. It takes days and days and many, many hours to create these videos. So I started doing my own education. Just sign up for a couple of little mini courses, for people just to kind of get their deeper insight into different things. So yeah, so that's what I haven't produced anything of significance yet. Everything I have been doing is just kind of practice and playing around and stuff because you know how it is when you're working with clay and you spend a lot of time sculpting a doll, the last thing you want to do is break it trying to make it walk across the table.
So you're not using any computer enhancement to use a program that says, okay, I have my doll at this point and I have my doll at this point, and my computer's going to figure out how to get from point A to point B. You're still doing the traditional step by moving the doll type
Yes.
technique.
Yes, and that is certainly the more traditional way of doing it. Of course, they can do anything with AI and computers and stuff these days. But seeing, and when you watch it, you can tell if it was an actual figure, even if it's just a Lego, because Lego stop motion is very popular. So for people who aren't skilled and crafty that way, it's a perfect way to get into stop motion. Now, I do have an app on my phone to make stop motion video with, and so you absolutely need to have that. But that's really good because, there's so many things you need to learn, how many frames per second you need to have to make your transitions smoother,
And you're
and
not talking just like 10 pictures, and you're probably talking about 25 to 50.
oh, I can't even think of it off the top of my head because I'll say too ungodly amount of number to scare people away. Of course, the more images per second you have, the smoother it's not gonna look so choppy having your character walk across the table. So when you think about it, that means you have to have, if you do in 12, you have to take 12 pictures to get 1 second of video. So in order to make a 1 minute stop motion video, it will take you several, many, many hours to do it. So you'd have to get a lot of pictures. But the program that you have, the app that you have on your phone, which you can also put on your computer so they can see their movie on a bigger screen than just on their little phone screen or on their little camera screen.
Have to make sure that you're in such a location that your lighting doesn't change, because even daylight coming in throughout the day would make a difference.
That's another thing. They tell you to cover all your windows. I have a room in my house that doesn't have any windows. So I try to do all my actual video or picture taking in there. So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to have the external light. I've only got practice videos that I've made so far. I haven't even shown them to anybody outside of my household. The first one that I'm working on, I've made some smaller dolls, about 4 or 5 inches tall. Of course,
Mhm.
in the stop motion world, they call them puppets, but it's basically
Mhm.
your doll. And so I've started playing around with that. I'd already been kind of using some like paper mache type techniques to do some dollhouse building, but I really kind of
Mhm.
use that skill to focus more on the sets that I'm going to use. Because like the two dolls that I've made that I want to get in my video, I've got them. I made them this little tree house that they are going to live in, and it's a little bit bigger because it's 2 story and it has a little staircase that comes down. So I'm just going to video him getting out of bed, putting on his slippers and his robe, coming down the stairs, and making himself a cup of tea for breakfast. And then by the time I get all of that, that'll be a good minute or two,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's take me forever to make it.
I was
But
going
so
to say it is. Yeah.
and then I want to use the needle felting for really, they make the coolest special effects like
Mhm.
fire and smoke and steam and those kind, just the wind blowing, just those kind of things. So I want to be able to incorporate all of those things. So the sculpting, I hate calling it paper mache because I don't like that term paper mache, but that's for the set, and then also the needle felting for like the special effects types things. So I want to be able to incorporate all of that and market all of that because I'm always looking for things like that. I find a lot of interesting topics, and I read a lot of interesting things when it comes to marketing, and I'm always analyzing other people. Here where I am, like I'm in where my studio is right now, and
Mhm.
there's about 150, I'm sorry, at least 150 or so different art studios. So I will love walking around and just seeing how are they marketing their things. How are
Mhm.
they advertising? What kind of specials do they have? What do they do to draw customers into their studios? All that kind of stuff. So then I think I'm gonna make a separate TikTok account because I want to just post those kind of videos. When you're doing anything, TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, any of that, you really need to have that particular channel or that particular page or account focused on your niche. So right now in TikTok, the one I get the most views from and the most interaction from, I just post nature videos with an inspiring quote on the screen. That's all I post there. And I've built that up over the last year to where I've gotten more followers and I get more people who see it. TikTok pushes it out more and that kind of thing. So when I'm ready to start posting stop motion videos, I'm going to set up a separate account for that. I'll come up with some kind of catchy name that has something about my characters and maybe stop motion in my name, in my TikTok account name. And that's the only videos I will post there. But then I can also do the same on Instagram and in my I have a group and a page, of course, on Facebook. I will also then create a new YouTube channel. But the good thing is, see, people will stop, they'll look at my little stop motion video and they'll go, oh, let me click on her bio or let me go click on her website. So that's what my motivation is. That's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm hoping that these videos will really catch up people's attention, regardless of what social media platform it's on.
Yeah, cross
Yeah.
marketing. Well, that's it, because that's the same thing as far as trying to figure out how to advertise the IDR. Also having to do it in another country. When I asked the ladies yesterday, saying, how are you wanting to advertise? Because I know I'm looking into a couple things here for the US, but they were more or less relying just on Facebook. And I was surprised that that was their main source other than word of mouth.
Well, I'm gonna make it my mission for my very first stop motion video that I want to get out I'm going to say by the end of this year. And I'm going to put
Mhm.
it out on my new channel and we can share it on our
Mhm.
IADR channel of my two puppets in a stop motion video talking about getting ready to go to Italy for the
Mm. Oh, that'd
conference.
be fun.
So
That'd
I'm
be
going to give myself that goal. And if I can make it happen, we can use that everywhere. We can use it all over social media, TikTok and
Mhm.
Instagram and Facebook, and also in YouTube. We can all share it on our different YouTube channels
Oh
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to make that my mission. It gives me a goal. A lot of times I have this idea, but I don't really have an end point. So it just kind of keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger. So if I have a date, if I have an end point, that'll help me to really focus and get it done. I kind of give myself a schedule, if you will, to see about getting it done. I'm excited about that now.
And as I said, that's a good idea. And well, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Um,
Yeah.
so thank you for Bambi for sharing your inspiration, and I'm looking forward to seeing your new creation.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to show it off.
All right, we'll talk with you later.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.